Hey everyone, Travis here on day 2 of the LCS Spring Playoffs, joined by Xpecial of TSM. I'm going to go for the cheesiest interview question ever and just be like, Xpecial, how do you feel?
I feel a mixture of emotions. It's nice to win, but at the same time, I don't think we played very well. I think our tomorrow's game is gonna be really tough, and we need to really just fix all our mistakes overnight, and it's gonna be really hard.
Now, I want to discuss something with you that I saw after game 1. After game 1, CLG won very handedly, and then I saw you pull out the CLG spinner, stare their team in the eye, and slowly move the arrow to lose or win one game to give fans false hope, and then put it down. No, seriously, what happened in the second game, like that allowed you guys to come back? Was it just that hook that you made onto Link, or because definitely then the pendulum swung for the rest of the match?
It was, I would say that the hook began the turn, but at the same time, Darius made a huge play bottom, killed Jax Flowing one. That's not supposed to happen. He had TP to Baron, and it was crazy. It was just like literally the flash hook could have easily turned the other way if they just if Link just flashed the hook. It was just like we're slowly getting choked out of the game. We're slowly losing farm, slowly losing turret damage, but we managed to come back with that. And honestly, I don't even know what to think about that game. It was just we were pretty far behind, and yeah, I would say it swung it, but at the same time, the team did really well to just do other stuff too. Yeah.
Now I think game 2 was also the game where Dyrus went on his like little adventure in the beginning of the game into their jungle, and then like teleported over. Like that was a really unique sort of play that you guys made there. Was that something you guys have just practiced in scrims to sort of almost like a little cheesy thing, or what? What is that about?
So it was something that we pre-planned for sure, but at the same we pretty much expect teams to do a certain strategy, and that strategy was supposed to counter it. It worked all right. I mean, we did lose extra turret, and we also played the like after that pretty poorly. I mean, Turtle got killed, and we didn't have proper defense there. It was just, I mean, it was a pretty good play, but at the same time, we kind of screwed it up, so it didn't work out too well.
Now let's swing back to game 1. The casters during picks and bans seemed to be very excited about the decision making that CLG had made in the pick and ban phase. Do you think that that was at all maybe one of the bigger factors in your guys' loss in game 1?
I honestly don't even remember what they picked, but they had a pretty nice comp. I mean, honestly, we just fell behind, and it was not good for us. The big thing was Darius got killed when he got 3-man dove top, and we didn't really capitalize on that. And yeah, their team comp was good, but at the same time, we misplayed it, and we misplayed the second game too. And honestly, those games were just really bad for us, and we were surprised we even won. But it's a relief to win for us.
Bjergsen on Karma, was this like the secret tech that you guys had going on? I mean, that seemed to pan out pretty well when we saw the pentakill at the end.
I mean, that pentakill was really random. I didn't expect that at all. I mean, it's great to get a pentakill, but at the same time, Karma's is a fairly strong mid champion. I mean, people usually think her good at support, and she still is. But Bjergsen just, he used to play Karma a lot, even before LCS even started. This split, we actually played it her in scrims, but it didn't really work out too well against like assassins. But since assassins are gone now, it just makes a lot more sense to bring it back, and he did really well. Yeah.
It feels to me as though CLG historically, like even if they win the first game in a best of 3, they struggle to carry it out, especially if they lose the. I mean, obviously, if they lose the second game, they have a hard time ever winning that third game. You guys, on the other hand, I feel like I've seen go to a lot of third games and manage to pull it out. Do you feel as though TSM is better situated to handle these best of threes? I mean, it definitely seems like historically you guys have had some of your best performances in best of 3 sets.
It's hard to say. I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously, if it were a best out of one, would have been gone. Looked horrible, and his season would have been over. But luckily, in a best out of 3, even if you screw up really hard the first game, you can come back second game, third game. It was a really big relief for us just to be able to come back like that. Because if we had just lost the second game, we would have felt really bad. And I mean, part of it was we got a bit lucky. We got some good plays in, and yeah, CLG really seems to buckle when they're just really close to the finish line. They definitely could have won the second game, and it would have been a shutout.
Now tomorrow you guys play Cloud9, who finished just slightly ahead of you guys in the end of the split. Uh, you guys do seem to be performing better right now, at least based on that last game, especially in this patch than the previous one. Do you think that tomorrow you guys will have like that advantage over C9?
I believe Curse is still playing right now against Cloud9, so
All right. I asked this question because I didn't, people aren't going to see the interview and then and until after all of it is done. It's maybe possibly disrespectful to Curse fans, and I apologize. I think that it would be a huge, huge upset if Curse beat Cloud9. But hey, I'm glad to hear that you have such faith in Curse. So what are you planning to do against Curse tomorrow?
So Curse, they've been doing really well actually. We've actually been scrimming against them a lot, and they actually do really well. Their Mundo is really annoying. They have this Mundo Lulu comp that I believe they are playing right now. They lost with it actually, but
I mean, I understand your faith in them.
they're not bad. I think Brittany would have given them more of a chance. Just throwing that out there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, Curse is definitely not. No, they have a chance. Like they were down one game. They're down one game right now. We were down one game. Maybe you're doing an interview with CLG right after their game, and then obviously you can't post it anymore. So
I mean, a lot of that is based off of the performance I saw. Like, I think you guys, CLG, had a pretty good game against Coast yesterday. Dignitas and Curse was definitely a lot closer. I think perhaps that's part of the reason why I have perhaps less faith, especially after the first game that C9 won against Curse. But again, okay, I mean, we could turn this into a broader discussion. Whenever you look at who you're like, whenever you guys have to play CLG and you think who you're going to play next, are you thinking, oh, it's pretty even, Cursor C9, or are you like, we're going to probably win, again, we're going to play against C9?
I mean, thing is, you set the plan against both. So, yeah, I mean, against Curse or Cloud9, Cloud9 is definitely going to be the tougher team. I mean, even though Curse has a chance, the chance isn't exactly too high. But as an interviewer, usually you have to be more, impartial. So
I mean, impartial doesn't necessarily mean that you have to just be like, hey, XDG, they had a real good shot of winning playoffs.
Hey, they had a good shot at Worlds. They definitely got on their group stage.
That's true. Their performance this split is a little bit different than their performance last split, though.
Potential though. I mean, you're kind of that CLG, forefather. I don't know what you want to call it.
What the heck? Listen, people can look at my tweets. After the first game of TSM CLG, I was like, all right, here's the part where CLG loses 4 members in the level 1 fight, because that's what they do. They've done exactly what they always do, which is they win the first game. There's all this hype. Everybody's like, here's a chance CLG will finally beat TSM, and then they lose, and everybody's like, well, okay, congrats TSM, it moves on. So anyway, the point is I'm realistic, and that is why after seeing the first game and knowing that people would not realize that we were in between games, I felt maybe C9 on the very small chance. I actually have a video producer here who can just edit that whole question out, and I don't even have to worry about it. So that's how I plan this. Assuming C9 goes tomorrow into the grand finals or just the finals against you, okay, what do you think your chances are against them?
All right, so let me get this straight. So it's Cloud9 for sure tomorrow. It's gonna be tough. They're really good, and we are still slowly catching up, I would say. But our advantage is that we're really solid at just laning, really solid in team fights. But we just have to get past our rotations, and we can't lose early. Like we can't lose early, can't lose at dragons. And beyond that, it's really just, can we keep our lead? If we have a lead, we need to keep it and make sure we snowball it correctly. And I want to beat them. It'd be really nice. We've been kind of behind them. I mean, sure, we were ahead of them in the standings for a while, but they've been looking stronger and stronger while we were just slowly faltering. And hopefully, we can finally show that we're getting on top.
Hey, maybe one of my final questions is just, there was so much discussion around like, oh, TSM, like the 4.4 patch like struck them down, and maybe the 4.5 patch they can battle up or whatever. Do you feel like all that discussion around the patch and hitting you guys and how that stuff affects you is fair?
I mean, I don't mind discussion like that, but people don't often know exactly what's going on. I think a lot of the reasons why we were doing so poorly wasn't exactly because of the. I mean, like the patch, yes, was a big deal, but a lot of it was just teams were getting better, and we were no longer just winning lanes 2v2, mid lane winning, top lane winning. We had to rely more on rotations and more on just, I mean, treating them as if they're like, as equals, I'd say. But whereas before we would kind of just crush them in all lanes and was easily win. And I mean, obviously it's a lot easier if every lane wins, but now, teams go even with to play safe, be scared of jungle pressure, and 2v1s, you pretty much just start off at the mid game. There is no laning, and that's a huge difference between 4.4 and 4.3. And because of that, we weren't as capable of just snowballing our lead, and that was what really caught us in these last few patches. We just always threw our lead, and I would say that we fixed that portion, but we still need a lot of work on this other stuff too.
Do you have any shoutouts, plugs, anything you want to say here at the end as we move into tomorrow's game against, most likely Curse?
Oh yeah. So honestly, big shout out to our fans. They've been supporting us for a really long time, and these past few weeks have been rough for them, rough for us, and we're happy that we're finally in the finals. Finally in the finals. Okay, yeah. But it's been a really long journey for us, and to get to the finals again, it's a really big relief, and I'm sure all the fans are really happy about that. But we all know that we need a lot of work, and no matter what happens, if we win or lose, we still have to practice really hard. Worlds, All Stars, I mean, they're coming up soon, and hopefully we can show that we can just put in more hard work and just do even better.
Anybody else?
And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors, Alienware, HyperX, and Logitech. They've been huge supporters of us. I mean, Logitech gave us some pizza like a couple days ago just to help us, not to go out and get food and stuff like that. So we're really grateful for that. And we hope to make them proud tomorrow. Hopefully, we can beat our rivals and just show that we can, we're pretty good and we can go all stars and hopefully do all that too.
In front of all the French fans, you can strike down Yellow Star and Soaz in front of all the French fans that will be rooting for them and show them what America's capable of. Is that something you're capable of doing special?
I hope so. I mean, if we do beat them, we can just all go out and celebrate with like baguettes or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Baguettes. Yeah, baguettes are great.
They
Yeah.
are.
You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things LCS leading up to the baguette eating victory that NA will have at All Stars at ongamers.com.